Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Emergence Days Invitational, week number 9. It's season 2, and we're hopping into our first semifinal of 2. This one, of course, Reciprocity versus Hive, as we inbound ourselves onto some good old District. I love District, man. I'll tell you what, of course, Lando Sanders, Ryan Fools on the mic. Like I said, Ryan, I like District a lot. It's fast-paced. It gets me excited. I think it's a good way to start off our semifinals between Rec and Hive here.
Yeah, we've seen it so much more as of recent. It felt like in the beginning of Emergence Days, we just never saw District whatsoever. It was never chosen in the Pro League, and then out of nowhere, we just see it in almost every series from what it seems. So definitely a very fast-paced, exciting map. Of course, we are on Hive's map again. We're seeing why right now as they're just lighting up the kill feed. Of course, we are joining in when they're at a 1-0 lead. You're going to see Powers and Icy choose not to spawn back in.
I was getting ready to ask you, actually, what you thought about this being Hive's map pick. I think your answer would be, well, it's going pretty well so far, so I guess you can't really hate on them for it.
They're an aggressive team. Like I said, a lot of good Slayers, and this is one of those maps where your aggressive players can get loose, and they can, like I said, if you're shot hitting, we've seen players like Inzem, Solars, all those guys sort of on that middle box area, whatever, I'm not even sure what everyone calls it anymore. I call it that sort of middle planner box area. Right. Very, very fun fight during the initial, and like I said, players like Hive, they will instantly just slay out and hit your home hill.
Now, Reciprocity and Hive, we've yet to be able to watch them so far in week number 8. Reciprocity, up to this point, has taken down Patience 2-0. On the other end, it was Hive that managed to take down Throwdown 2-1. So that one ended up seeing a game number 3. And Reciprocity and Hive, they actually haven't visited each other, haven't played against each other in a long while. I believe it's been since around week 2 of semifinals in which Reciprocity won that 2-1. However, already into the action as Rushies is doing quite a bit of damage. The third shot, rather the second one, cannot take down the third player, just a little bit short on that end. But you love to see that aggressive start coming in from Reciprocity. But just like we talk about, back and forth, it looks as if Rec, this could be their round. However, just in the nick of time, Hive, they managed to hop on their home hill.
Yeah, Powers almost got that trip cap, but the boys on Hive got the final touch they needed as they now advance forward over towards Powers' home hill. You're going to see Tidy versus Powers, and Powers just continues to not miss a shot, wins that fight, edges back towards mid-map. He's met by a couple members of the Swarm team. I think he realizes that as he starts to back off. And Hive, they're getting a little bit aggressive. Reciprocity, they built quite the lead in the meantime.
Yeah, they definitely have. They've accrued a very solid advantage, one that TJ wants to try and spoil the party for. It's up at the amount of movies that are over at the cinema. TJ, maybe think about being the star and the newest, maybe the sequel for what could be round number 3. TJ, unfortunately, having to back up. Like we said, not a whole lot of teammate support over at this point of view. Just as I say that, player number 7, a.k.a. Noe, maybe tempting at the idea. Like I said, he has a lot of vision at the moment. And if TJ can bait out these players, that could allow for a nice advantage, but you see Hive members all around the map trying to make some progress.
See Noe with that bull talk. They can do so much damage in the right hands. Gonna miss a couple shots and then switching over to his Lancer as his teammate is in a fight over towards Juice. Tidy's gonna get the better end of that with the help of Noe. And now we find Hive moving forward. Again, Reciprocity has still built a very good size lead in this round. But you see the win condition, right? Swarm still in position to win if they can hold that 2-cap, and
that's big.
TJ has his way. They're going to continue to hold that 2-cap as they wait for that new drop shot.
Yeah, that's a big one for Hive to walk away with. Obviously, Rushy's a very talented player when it comes down to, especially up close perspective. He's one of the guys who, once the Russian spawns first, and that's for the very reason Hive dodge a bullet, but can they dodge another? Unfortunately for Tidy, he cannot have that same grace. Neither can Hefe, as he'll fall as well. That's instantly going to be franchise hopping on the home hill and putting some pressure onto Hive. As look at that, though. Player number 8 has managed to sneak through. That's Demise. So going for the decap in the meantime, that's a smart play coming in from him.
Yeah, and you saw Powers run straight over to B in the meantime. Fran wins one fight, but has ended up being traded out. Reciprocity still holding that lead. They still do win on 1. But that B hill is the only one back in their possession. You're going to see the members of Hive just instantly swarming over. Powers, it's a nice shot on the Hefe. Oh, the drop shot comes through, ends up being a team kill. If Rec can hold on for about 7 more seconds, they will be in position to win. It doesn't look like anyone from the Swarm team can get there in time. Noe gets one. Is it going to be enough? The break doesn't come through. We were so close, but Reciprocity, they hold on. And that was maybe a half second from being broken.
Yeah. Unfortunate if you're Hive, but
Because like Kenny was last alive.
yeah,
They kill Kenny, that's round.
that's rough if you're Hive. But at the very least, you can reflect on what has just occurred and say, hey, you know what? At the very least, we do find ourselves up 2-1. And this is a big round to close out the first half already, just because of the presence that's shown from Hive off the rip. I know we got to join in with them a little bit later in round number 2, I believe. But even still yet, excited to see what these guys can do because, you know what? They've been kind of on a dry spell as of recently. I know they finished top 4 last week. Of course, they're already top 4 here and now in the semifinals, but they were actually on a 3-week hiatus from entering back into that semifinals, losing into the first round 3 weeks in a row. Can we see some new life form from these guys? Can they make their first grand final in Emergence days here for Gears of War 5? It's time maybe to even find out. Rushy's up close, trying to prevent that early resurgence from Hive, as he'll go ahead and gladly hold on to that drop shot.
Rushy's just so good at playing that spot when the drop shot is down. We see that just more and more as
Showing
District
some
kind of
love.
continues to develop. And now, like you said, he's throwing some love over to his boy TJ as
Some heart
Reciprocity
emojis, you know?
comes out on top with this initial. So now you see the Rushman drop shot in hand. And he's look at the respawns on both sides. Noe with 1, Hefe with 1, Kenny with 1. So respawn definitely favoring Reciprocity as they look to tie this first half up, and now Rushies has the ability to basically single-handedly hold down that B hill. Of course, the drop shot is just so powerful when it comes to defending a hill. It just makes it almost impossible for a player to kind of run in there and get the full break.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like if you're Hive in this situation, I was going to say, you have to toss something. You have to utilize some utility because that can happen. They run right into the blender, and Rushy's another ingredient. This will take down the first. TJ just on the back end has to be wary of his life because Kenny is right in front of him. The shot also lands. Hive 0 for 2 in their attempt at trying to retake at B. And Rushy's laughing as they'll easily recap this one, Ryan. In that situation, you think Hive, maybe, obviously Perspectives 2020, should they have gone for the OE rather than the push at B, considering what Rushy's had there?
It's a double-edged sword because keep in mind, while the B hill is over on this side of the map, the drop shot is as well. So even if you push the other side of the map, you're just going to basically volunteer the drop shot right over to Reciprocity once again. So one of those situations where you're kind of a tough decision to make. They've obviously chosen to push over towards B, and Reciprocity is not stopping as Kenny bounds with a big 2-piece on to both Demise and TJ. They continue to hold down this side of the map. That's going to leave Hefe and Noe now on their very last respawn, and Demise as well. So any of those 3 players go down, that will take them out for the entirety of the round.
Yeah, Hive, you're definitely looking at a decent long shot, that's for sure. No pun intended, but Hefe up close, staring at 3 members. Can at least put somewhat of a dent into Reciprocity. Unfortunately will not, as Kenny taking him down, making it look somewhat simple. Last few seconds are inbound as Reciprocity are primed and ready to walk away with this one as Rushy's, just for good measure, takes down another with the drop shot. And in prime Reciprocity fashion, they do answer back. 2 straight rounds for them. And coming into the half, we're level at all 2.
Yeah, good bounce back by Reciprocity. Hive got off to a very hot start, but Reciprocity has just controlled that drop shot fight. And of course, on Escalation 2.0, the weapons don't wipe anymore at the half, right? Gears of War 4, you could be losing a fight, whatever. It's all right, the half's coming, wipe it away. Now that weapon's staying there the entire time, so they're going to have to continue to fight for that weapon unless they can get a hold of Rushies. Reciprocity will continue to win rounds. They're so good at securing that weapon. And again, I always look at it to be kind of on the back of how confident Rushies gets in those kind of hectic close quarter situations.
Sure. Yeah, maybe no real backup plan, at least as of yet for Hive, as Ryan called the cinema fight. One that they desperately need to win. And if not, that'd be 3 straight rounds toward the side of Rec. Of course, first to 5 if you're new to Gears of War 5. Like we said, Rushy's up close. Good luck. Shock at the backside. That pretty much funnels in all the Hive players into the cinema. Whether they wanted to walk in the door or not, they're forced. And on the way out, no, he falls as well. Lovely shot coming in from Rushies as Hive continue to scatter. Hefe looking to try and pick up the pieces, but to no avail. This one is looking to go the other way, and it will. Reciprocity, as you called it, Ryan, the big fight off the start. Rushies wins it, and it equals out to an equation of only 38 seconds in a round.
Again, it's just so hard to take him out in that fight. You see he's just so good at positioning around that sort of statue right around that just cover, and no matter which way you go, he ends up hitting you with a full spread, dodging your shot, and like I said, Reciprocity can continue to secure that weapon. It's just going to make their lives so much easier as now they've chained 3 rounds in a row, honestly, in very quick succession.
Oh, yeah. This has been a very quick comeback, that's for sure. And like you talked about, it's no real surprise. Like, it isn't as if it's like, oh, well, you know, how's Reciprocity doing this? You know, it's a few different things. No, it is the cinema fight in which Rushies takes control of the drop shot. At least so far on broadcast. I couldn't tell you how the first 2 rounds went exactly in prime detail because, of course, we did join a little bit late. But Reciprocity, they figured out the formula. Give this man Rushies the weapon of choice. It'll give you the results. Shock, as well as Ensign, tossed on top of each other. That just looks like an absolute mess. As the drop shot thankfully won't be affected by it because we still have an opportunity to fight for what matters most. TJ trying to get this man Rushies off the map and make it happen quickly. Distance him out just enough to actually make Hefe have to fire it through. And Rushies, though, still, he's hungry. He wants that power weapon, and he comes through with the knife. Lovely triple as Hive continue to fall.
And that's going to equalize the drop shot. Hefe did have control of the power weapon, so even when Rec doesn't secure the power weapon, they still end up securing that fight. And they can delay it all they want, but in the end, it was once again the Rushman who came through and made that big play over in the cinemas. Now Reciprocity fights for the 3 cap. Members of Hive are off spawn. It's going to be about 3 to be exact. Nothing Rushies can do as he finally does fall to the hands of Noe's Bull Talk. At the very least, the Reciprocity, like I said, they equalized that drop shot.
Yeah.
They built that lead. They have the 2 caps, so still in very good position in this round.
Yeah, definitely are. We'll see if Reciprocity can keep it up, or maybe can Hive finally, after a 3-round swing, finally begin to answer back. Powers, I feel like we haven't had a chance to really highlight him just because his good old comrade Rushies has been so dominant. Waiting just around the corner, TJ. We talk about teammate support. We've got 2 members on E. Unfortunately, a few of them are beginning to fall because of the Bolt Talk coming into play. Flashbangs are out, utility is present, and TJ may no longer be. As Icy comes through, he'll fall. Powers does as well. It looked somewhat negative for Hive off the rip. However, they reign victorious so far here through the mid-round.
Yeah, and Hive still has plenty of round left, of course. Reciprocity just now getting past the 100-point mark as Kenny is the last remaining member. Of course, a couple will be off spawn. But a good wipe coming in from Hive. That gives them the neutral hill. You see them setting up over towards the new drop shot, so putting themselves in good position.
Ooh, wow.
Tidy has to be careful there. He's still going to be surrounded by a couple members of Rec. Luckily, Noe would be there for the revive.
Everybody's showing their parkour skills right now.
There's that shock grenade. It's going to create some separations. Now you're going to see Reciprocity very quickly just taking back control of this side. Trying to be the ones to gain that new power weapon. You're going to see very, very big fight coming underway. Rush does get the new weapon, shoots one. It's going to force Tidy forward, but Tidy jumps in and hits him with the back A. That neutralizes the drop shot for Reciprocity. And you see Hive, you see how close they are to get back in this. They're about to take the time lead back. 2 members are down for Reciprocity.
Oh, TJ.
I see in a world of hurt. You have to be careful not to get close to him, not to let him get a chunk. That was very, very, very close, but they do get the kill and are 1 step closer to tying this up to 3-3. Kenny and Powers are not spawning back in. Hive have now stopped the bleeding. We find ourselves tied now at 3-3.
And just in the nick of time, too, because we always talk about the swing round there in round number 6. That very well could have been Reciprocity's, and it looked like it was going that way had it not been for that kind of, 3 versus 3 that later turned into a 2 versus 2 cinema fight. Hive, they win the big one in terms of the exact engagement. I believe that was TJ who was trying to go for the revive on a teammate, had to back up. I know that was there's a lot of action going on, but I think it was TJ trying to go for the revive, manages to do so, and in the meantime as well takes down 1, which allows for the 3v1 engagement. So all things considered, thank goodness if you're Hive, right? Trying to stay alive on their own map choice, as you called it earlier, Ryan. This is a big deal for them. And a great opportunity, too, because a squad like Reciprocity, who, of course, looked very, very solid last week, made it to the grand finals after they have, escaped it for a little bit. Took down some solid rosters. They took down Fire and Ice in terms of Reciprocity. Took down Fire and Ice and round 1 of last week, beat Rise Nation 2-0, and unfortunately fell to Energy. But Hive, they want to try to break what has been the overwhelming storyline throughout Emergence days, which is the Rec versus Energy final. And Rushies, unfortunately, just gets hit markers, nothing present. And it looks as if Icy still, regardless, as he does lose his teammate, still holds on to his life. But that one instantly foiled, as Noe will be there for the engagement. Player still remaining is, actually I think it was player number 3, Powers, who is hanging on here at E. Still in limbo. Fran, of course, trying to be the medic. Powers will repay his debt. They'll just somehow force their way out of here, but Reciprocity, they are in an ultimate struggle situation as Fran, thankfully, manages to brute force his way through and hands that objective work over to Powers.
Yeah, big kill coming in from Fran. You saw Powers put that Bull Talk to work, lighten up that player, that force him to move, and Fran follows it up alongside his teammate, getting that second kill. So Reciprocity live to fight throughout this round, but Hive are continuing to start to slay out. You're going to see Kenny choose to spawn back in. They built a decent-sized lead, but Rec with that 2-cap has plenty of time, right? There's still plenty of map remaining. Of course, you get just so much time now with this new Escalation 2.0, 2-to-1 hill advantage. Of course, all Gears 4 is 1.5. Now it's 2. So much easier to close that lead when you have control of those hills. Let's see how Reciprocity defends this E hill. You're going to see one member of Hive over in Bandstand. Noe with that Bull Talk across from him. Any player that gets caught out of position with that Bull Talk just gets absolutely obliterated at the highest level. And Rec, they're just waiting. They're just waiting to see what Hive chooses to do next.
Ultimate spread for Hive. Utility tossed in. Rushy says, hey, where exactly did that come from? Okay, right in that angle. I'll have to keep aware of it. Bandstand fight. Primary target, 2 versus 2. Kenny just trying to provide some excess pistol fire, as unfortunately he'll be the first one made in the team fight. Powers left to try and push his way back, and I believe, well, it is victory at the top side in terms of Icy winning it out over Tidy. That will be an overextension opportunity for Reciprocity despite the major losses here over at E. Back and forth team fights. Hive holds on to theirs, but Reciprocity, in fact, like I said, makes the double home hill push.
And Noe again sneaky. Kenny does make him pay off spawn. Hefe is there for the follow-up. He's going to be faced by 2 more members of Rec. You saw, in the meantime, I believe it was Icy that did get a hold of that drop, but ends up falling. So now Rush spawns back in. He's on 0 respawns. You're going to see Franchise choosing not to use his. Advantage is going to be in Hive. They have now taken back control of this map. They find themselves 1 round away from heading up 1-0 in this series. And honestly, it started with the initials, right? When Reciprocity started to build that lead, they were controlling the early stage. They were controlling Cinema. These past few rounds, Hive has been much more aggressive. Hive has controlled the early stages, and they finished these rounds off and now find themselves in the lead.
Yeah, that's been the biggest feat so far. Reciprocity trying to think about, hey, maybe we go back to what works. How do we continue to incentivize what has made it successful? And take a look at that, Ryan. It is going to be the drop shot that is going to be taken off for the next round, a pick from Hive. And that's a big loss if you're Rec. We just talked about the biggest deal for them is, hey, we want to try to put Rushies in a position to succeed. And now you just took away the weapon that allowed for him to see so much success.
And maybe they're feeling like Hive's done the better from these last 2 rounds, and so maybe they feel like they're better off.
Because they continue to lose the Cinema fight.
Everything on the line.
Last round.
Yeah, everything on the line now. Having more of a, I call these kind of a cleaner round, so to speak, when there's not that drop shot that forces the action. You can see Reciprocity's teamwork can shine through. Will it be the Young Guns? Keep in mind this is Hive's map pick, right? They feel strong on this map for a reason. Powers getting that early kill, takes his Bull Talk out, actually ends up getting down by his teammate. Hefe will be there for the cleanup. So 1 member fall for each team. Hefe with that Bull Talk, but he's met by the right-hand knife of Franchise when he least expects it. This should give Reciprocity that early advantage on the E hill. You're going to see Tidy up in juice. Knows he can't push down just yet. And it should be a pretty routine 2v1 over for Reciprocity on the other end. Is going to end up in Noe falling. But TJ gets aggressive, drops Fran. And actually, no one's killed Noe yet. You see Noe's still down.
Still around. Could definitely be a big player to keep in mind. Yeah, that's going to be TJ who comes over.
Does Kenny not know he's...
He does not.
Does Kenny not know he's there?
Not aware. Oh, but he still finds the first. Kenny can't stay alive. A huge 2 versus 1 and a mislap for Reciprocity as Hefe comes through. He'll drop another. Lovely work coming in from Hive. However, you have to keep in mind the near domination opportunities that are present for Rec, but still, Ryan, in those situations, I mean, that means so much. That very well could allow for Hive to be brought back in this game despite what seems to be the issue of score. Hive, they still have a chance. TJ on 0 respawns, the only player currently affected by that. However, on the other side, Rushies, Kinney affected, rather, in franchise as well, all on 1. A lot to keep in mind, but like we said, here comes Hive on to E.
You see Reciprocity. They can afford to let Hive hop on this hill, even get a cap on it, right? You see the lead they've built, 100 seconds. Of course, there was a little mishap on the spawn, but luckily it wasn't enough to turn the tides of the round as Rec is beginning to eclipse the 200-point mark. No, he hits a big couple of Bulltalk shots, but is it enough? And it looks like someone's gotten sneaky. It is going to be Icy hopping on the Hive home hill. That's going to surely force them to have to turn around. He ends up getting dropped, but you see how they have to send 2 members there to do that, right? That's going to be just that much more time spent for Hive to put themselves in a position to try to get this back. They have the 2-cap, but their work is not done yet. You see COG team will win in 30 seconds. The win condition is in their favor. That F hill is going to mean everything for this team. Here comes Hive. They're starting to edge up. They need to hop on that hill. A break would be a great start as TJ gets 1. They're starting to move forward. Demise in the kill feed as well. Powers and Rush trying to answer back. Rec needs to get a hill cap to win this round. Otherwise, it will be a Hive map. The kill feed is lighting up red. The trip cap is underway. I don't think Rec can get there in time. They had so much control. But the young guns on Hive, they clutch up when it matters most. 3 straight rounds. They kick off this series with 1-0.
I mean, just look at the way they went in sequence, right? It was 2 straight for Hive, then 3 straight for Rec, and obviously the closeout in the end from the boys on Hive is like we talked about.